out. Now, like I said, it's painful to lose them because we want to believe in the Ashburn syndrome. We want to believe that the second overall pick that we took in Chase was truly a generational talent. But the truth is, he did not show it, and he has never shown it. And you saw that being that we only got a third round pick from him, right? The Niners offered a third, and we're like, okay, we'll take it. Nobody else came in and had a better offer. And what does that tell you about Chase? Now, I still believe we used Chase wrong, and he's going to do amazing on that Niners defense. But I'm not devastated, right? I'm not crushed at this because they just weren't getting the job done for the capital invested in them.
Yeah, and you saw Ron say today that they didn't really want to, or whatever it was reported that they didn't really want to trade Tez, but the offer was just too good for them to pass up on. And I 100% believe that. The Bears, and actually the Falcons offered second round pick as well, but we went with the Bears because it was going to be potentially a higher pick.
Yeah, it's basically a one. You have to do that.
Yeah, and on the Chase, what I don't understand on the Chase trade is the wording said it was a compensatory third round pick. So does that mean it's not the 49ers pick? It's whatever they get as comp picks
I think it's the
in the
comp
third
pick
round?
they got for losing one of their coaches
So
last year.
it's really almost a fourth round pick.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time,
I,
you're
I
still
mean,
five picks
he
in the
was
top 100, and apparently we're not. Look,
the
you and I
relationship
aren't
was
college.
soured.
We're not
It,
college football guys, but apparently this draft is stacked with talent that's coming in.
well, they also drafted the guy Andre Jones last year, who they've been praising all summer and has had a good camp, had a good preseason. Maybe that guy gets a chance, gets more snaps, and maybe that with this guy and Hill and whoever else they have out there
Well, we got this year.
plays
We got
within the system.
KJ Henry in the fifth. KJ Henry in the fifth. So yeah, it's almost like did
Is he
Ron
even
know we
active?
were gonna? I have no idea. Probably not. But it's almost like did Ron know we were gonna make these trades in the draft? Did he have that foresight? No, he just
No.
drafted like an idiot. But somehow, some way, we still have depth at the edge position. Now, obviously, you could still go out free agency next year and get yourself a better free agent. But I want
No,
all
that
the
would be a
draft picks.
disaster. Trading a pick and then signing a person like you're not going to sign someone who's of better caliber than Montez Sweat. So
You
I
might.
think
You never
going out
know.
and getting and no, you're not right. You're not. You're not.
Well, hopefully,
I just
hopefully
think that would be a
the next
disaster.
the
But
next seven
hopefully,
games you don't have to see that. You see enough that you don't
well,
even think you need that.
or if you do need that, you have 5 picks in the first
No, no,
three
no,
rounds.
no,
Maybe use one
no.
of
If
them.
you take a draft pick for an edge, that's annoying. Don't do that. I would much rather free agent get an edge piece than waste a draft pick on an edge piece because then what the hell
No,
was the
because
point?
you got to think about the salary cap. If you're
Right.
drafting
That
someone in the third round, you're paying them nothing. If you
no, but
keep
I mean,
Montez, you're paying him 20 million a year.
but I don't think from all the times we've seen Tez and Chase that they were worth the money that would have come their way. So I'm
Well, you know
okay
what would have
signing.
been smart is not drafting Fedarian Mathis and drafting an edge player at that
Yeah,
second
I
round
mean,
spot
what would
a
have been
year ago, two
smart
years
was
ago,
drafting an offense that was better, so that the defense didn't have to get on the field as much, and losing JDR 3 years ago.
or getting a actual linebacker in there who makes that defense a million times better.
Yeah, the
Literally,
truth is Ron
if
Rivera
you had a true linebacker in there, this defense doesn't have problems. The
100% agreed.
defensive problems are
100%
because
agreed.
Cody Barton is on the field,
Yeah,
or because
and Jamin
David
is a
Mayo
first
is
round pick that isn't playing to that caliber, and David Mayo comes in, and
no.
Khaliki Hudson comes in,
Jamin
and
Davis, like he can't even have the green dot. This is
yeah,
year 4 for him, and he
yeah.
doesn't even have the green dot when
Barton went
Cody
out. It went to
Barton went
Curl.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
the
just
disaster.
Ron Rivera came into this team, saw all the capital we put in the defense, saw the elite weapons we had on offense, and he was like, the window is open. But then Ron caught a chill and slammed the window shut. That's essentially what happened. And he had no idea what was going on. He had no idea how to improve on this roster. And his BS of We're a QB away, and yet I'm gonna take all the positions that we do have and make them worse. It makes no sense. And then he makes them worse, and then he drafts people to improve on the positions he made worse. Like Ron
Ron is
has to
not.
go.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
it's it at
He
this
may have
point.
been the right person under the Snyder era where we needed
Yeah, he
stability, we needed
steadied the
no
ship.
leaks,
Blah
we
blah blah.
needed players who are not getting arrested, all those things. But
Yeah,
now
but the
Ron
question now
is
is,
a
why
guy
is he
who
still here? Right? You have Harris. He got his hands dirty. Him and who's the new analytical guy we hired? What's his name again?
Shen.
Shen. He came in and he was like, these trades, the value, the analytics of it say it's worth it. But then if you see that the tide is turning, just drop Ron from now, give it to
No, because
EB and go.
well, if you're not going to win this season anyways, I'm not saying to tank, but let Ron stable the ship or whatever.
Let Ron tank by accident because he just
Tank
doesn't know how to coach the team.
exactly. I mean, but I also don't see Ron surviving the rest of the year. I think you lose to the Patriots. I think Ron's probably out.
it 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 has to
You
happen sooner than later
so
because you
part of
need
it,
you need to see what this team can look like, not under the stewardship of Ron, so that you have game tape for whoever's coming in to be like, okay, Ron removed, suddenly this guy's playing better. Suddenly this guy who was buried on the depth chart, he's back and he's playing well. So we don't have to worry about that in the first round. We can push it to a third round pick. Suddenly Terry's doing great. Dotson's doing great. Pringle's terrible. We'll drop him. Like you have to lose Ron so that EB can come in and he can make personnel changes, and his coordinator that replaces JDR can come in and run a different scheme. And then you can truly identify where your glaring holes are under quote unquote better coaching, right? But if you just have shit coaching and it makes the roster look like shit, the new guy is going to come in and he's going to be like, all these players are terrible. Let's get rid of everyone. But then that's how you possibly lose out on real talent. That's how you could maybe that happens and he's like, oh, I don't want to re-sign Curl. And then you lose Curl and then suddenly we're weak at safety for the next 3 years. Right? Like that's something that Ron needs to go so that's not a scenario we have to deal with.
I mean, it's so complicated. There's a lot that goes into it. Like, who is going to run the show? Like, they hired this analytics guy, Shen. I would highly doubt this guy's going to run the show. So Harris has got to like figure out what his org structure is. Is there a team president? Is there a GM underneath that team president? And then under the GM, is there a coach? All those things. I think this season was really about finding out is Howell the guy, and I think we are much closer to the answer there. And it's
Yeah.
he can be the guy. I think the second thing that we got to figure out is EB a potential head coach replacement?
No, he should
I
not
was
be a head
listening.
coach.
I was listening to the Junkies this morning, and they had interviewed Diana Rossini from the Athletic, and they said, "Who are the top candidates to be head coaching next year?" And she really had no answer. She said Ben Johnson from the Lions, and then there was one other name
The
she
the
dropped
coordinator
from the
from the
Eagles.
Bengals.
Oh, it was the coordinator from the Bengals, defensive coordinator from the
Yeah.
Bengals, right? I don't want anyone on defense. And Ben Johnson, who knows, right? Like he may or may not come. I'm not really
They looked
sure
great
that
on Monday
that's
night.
what the Commanders need. Um,
You need a
you
young
can
guy that
hire a young guy, but you gotta hire an experienced GM, an experienced team president.
yes. Yeah. You essentially need what the Niners did, right? Because Kyle at the time was still viewed as a young guy
Yeah,
when
but
he
they
was given
also
head
took a
coach.
flyer on Lynch, right? Lynch was a TV analyst. Like
Yeah,
he
but
doesn't
but
have
he's
running an organization
but he's
experience.
proven he can.
But it was what I'm
Mm.
saying is it was a risk that the Niners took,
He
and
is
it
the
paid off.
daddy. He is the daddy of the Redskins, right? We gave the Niners Trent and Chase for 2 third picks. He owns us.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
find
mean,
me a
but
guy like that. Find me
what are you
a
gonna hire?
Roseman,
Chris Collinsworth? You're
somebody.
gonna hire?
Tony
I don't
Dungy,
know.
baby. Let's go. Cower as our GM.
I'm all in for Peyton Manning as head coach.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's not gonna happen, but
Hmm. But the point is, The Martys suck, and like, I almost like the Martys are just helping other teams because they know they're not going to be here anymore. What do they care about keeping this roster intact? What do they care about making the right moves and the right draft picks? They know they're gone. The writing's on the wall. That's what I'm saying. Just get rid of everyone now. Pull the Raiders. Get rid of McDaniels. Get rid of your GM. Throw in a couple random interims. See what you can get out of the season. Evaluate that way, and then finish pressing the reset button at the end of the season. But to delay it from now, when we know everybody's gone and we traded away two blue chip players, just it makes no sense. Just end it now. The fan base will come back. If you fire Ron, the fan base that was late at the start of the year because Snyder sold and faded away through the blowout after blowout after blowout from under Ron, they come back, right? And then you finish the season with your fan base strong. You finish the season with the players more excited, buying into whatever interim coach is there. EB probably can own that locker room instantly if he's the interim, right? And you go. And maybe EB, he's on board with being a carryover coordinator next season, and then he goes out for a head coaching job based on Black Monday or whatever happens this season when everybody gets fired.
I mean, I'd love to know what Josh Harris is thinking. Like, is this season? Are you trying to lose? Are you trying to win?
I don't
Are you
think
trying to
anybody's
just sell seats?
trying to lose, but you just need to finish pressing the reset button. Right now we're in a half press. Do a full press.
Yeah, I
Also,
mean,
you have to do a full press
I
because
could very
Ron
well
will
see
find a way to
Ron going
string
on a
wins
run.
together. Yeah,
He
that's why you have
will
to get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a career 2 games under 500, and that's probably where he'll end up if he's the coach for the rest of the year.
I mean, the only thing in our favor is the schedule moving forward is not an easy schedule.
But it's also
It's
not
not.
that difficult.
The Patriots are they suck, but it's still Bill Belichick. And I was saying it. I said it 2 weeks ago, and then they won or they did something
They
against a
beat the
good team.
Bills,
The
and they
Bills, that's what
almost
it
beat
was.
They were in the lead for the Dolphins.
Yeah. So it's you can never count out a Bill Belichick team, even though
Yeah,
they suck.
it's
The
Patriots,
Jets,
Seahawks,
the
Giants,
Jets, the
Cowboys,
Seahawks are great.
Dolphins,
The Giants have our number. Cowboys will destroy us. Dolphins will destroy
Rams
us.
are a weak
Rams,
team. Jets are a weak team.
yeah, but the Jets aren't a weak team. They're weak at quarterback. Everything else is great. Brees Hall will rush for 7,000 yards against us. They'll have 48 sacks on the game, right? Same goes with the Rams. Aaron Donald will just be living inside of Howell's mind. It, none of these games are gimmies.
I'm still picking the Commanders to win this week.
Yeah, I mean you're a homer, but
I don't know. I just see Ron not really losing the locker room, and I see the players in the
I
locker
think
room
he did
probably
lose the locker
not.
room.
I think the players in the locker room probably not caring that Chase has been traded, and I think they understand that the haul for Tez was worth it.
I think Ron lost the
I can't
locker
even see
room.
you.
I think Ron lost the locker room because of just Allen dropping the f bombs, Reeves on Twitter's voicing frustrations. It's just there's a lot of frustration that's bubbling up, and then even today, I think JP tweeted out that the locker room during practice was quiet because Chase and Tez are such big personalities. I always thought Tez was a quiet guy, but apparently he has a big personality in the locker room, and the locker room was quieter today. And I can't put my finger on it if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Were they distracting? Because there was rumors going around, mainly around Chase, that he was immature. He was doing his own thing. He never took like the coaching advice. He was always chasing like the flashy play instead of doing his assignment. It sounds like that's the Commanders trying to save face and justify trading him, but it also sounds like there's a little truth to
There's
that,
probably a little truth to it. Yeah,
right?
I mean, there
And
was a report yesterday. They view it as addition by subtraction.
right, but
I
but
mean,
that's what I'm saying. If there's truth to that, did Ron ever really have the locker room? JDR definitely didn't have the locker room, right? If
Yeah,
you're
but
just
you
gonna
don't
do
have
your own
players
thing
storming
and
off in
joke
the middle
around,
of the game like Antonio Brown did a couple years ago.
yeah.
You
But
don't
I mean,
have
you had
you
Allen
don't
and
have
Payne
players
get
calling out the
into it last
coach.
season, right?
That
You
was
you
two
can
two
you can
seasons ago, I
you
think, right?
can win. You can have the locker room. Ron is a leader of men, but that only goes so far if you're a terrible coach. And if you're putting these guys through the ringer and making them practice and making them do all this stuff only to get embarrassed on TV on game day because your plan isn't cohesive, because everything is falling apart. That's when you end up seeing something like Devonte Adams on Monday night slamming his helmet down and freaking out on the sideline. Eventually, it's going to boil over and you see that you don't
Yeah.
actually have a grasp on that locker room. And I think Ron is right there. I think he's
Yep.
right at the cusp of this boiling over, which is another reason just finish pressing the reset button, get him out of there.
Yeah. You lose one more game that you should be in competition, like the Patriots, and I think you'll see that. And I
Yeah, if
think
we come out
you will see
28,
that, and I
24
think you will
3,
see Ron fired.
yeah, if we come out 24-3, 17-3 at the half, and then suddenly Mac Jones looks like the second coming of Brady, the offense is clicking, it's a get right game for the Patriots, and we lose, you have to fire Ron because that is the boil over point. That is where you'll see the frustrations. You'll see Terry saying stuff. You'll see it
Well,
all,
you already
right?
saw
And
John
then
Allen say something, right?
yeah. And
Yeah.
and I mean shame on Ron that Sam has to go out there, who's essentially a rookie, young kid, and he has to tell the DC media, no, we're not tanking. We still want to win. We still have guys here that are working hard. And that shouldn't be Sam's job. Sam shouldn't have to field those questions.
Yeah.
I hate
I
Ron
mean,
Rivera.
you're getting to the point where you're also setting up your quarterback for failure too for the rest of the year, and that's a
Right.
very risky proposition.
Yeah. We can't do that either. And you know what? That's it's kind of why I'm okay with EB becoming interim coach. See what he can do. His
That's what I'm for.
see
That's
if
what I'm
he
saying.
can
That's
bring
what
in
I'm
see if he
for.
can bring in the Andy Reid method instead of the rumors about us going out and hiring Bill Belichick and bringing in the Patriots way. If that happens, I mean, it's essentially that rumor got killed tonight. But if that happens, I'm flipping tables. I'm freaking out. That is a very Snyder-esque move if we do that.
Yeah, that would be the wrong, 100% the wrong move. Bill Belichick, great coach, didn't have anything without Brady.
And Bill Belichick probably
And
comes
remember,
here
like,
and brings in McDaniels. And then you'll see
yeah,
Terry on the
probably.
sideline smashing his helmet.
Yeah, I mean, he was saved by Brady.
I
You
mean,
also got to remember, he hasn't been in New England his whole career, right? He was in Cleveland and he failed there.
right. In New York, and he failed there. It's just I I was I miss Chase and Tez already, but I also don't. And I think a lot of the people out there, a lot of the fans who were rejoicing that Harris took over, the poison of the DC fan base and the media, they're all already they're angry at Harris and they have Ashburn syndrome and value Chase so much because he was the second overall pick and the generational talent, and they think we just threw him away. It needed to happen. It had to happen. It was the correct move. You're never going to be a championship caliber team if you keep holding on to these quote unquote blue chip players that aren't producing, right? And you're just covered, you just have rose colored glasses on and you make excuses for them. I mean, Chase's dad on the radio was, oh, he's always double teamed, he's always triple teamed. And then boom, instantly 15 Twitter accounts are like, he's actually double teamed 2% of the plays against the Eagles, right? Like he just wasn't doing it himself, right?
It's just such a bad look to get your dad to go on radio to defend you.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's a
just
horrible look. Like
Chase
I mean,
Chase
I
was
said
the
this in our
guy on the
chat.
sideline, but he gave off selfish vibes.
He to me he gave off RG3 vibes.
Yeah, right? Like he
Yeah,
bought into his own hype and he never did the work. And then his mediocre rookie year that got him D-Roy or yeah, D-Roy, eh, he didn't think he had to keep working on his craft, and then he got injured, and then They'll come back, and then maybe I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers torn Achilles, dropping back and doing passes, and it took Chase, who's significantly younger, a season and a half to even lose the knee brace. Like, come on. Like, are you telling me you couldn't? Are you telling me
Yeah,
you put in 300% effort to rehab the way Aaron Rodgers is clearly doing? No, I guarantee you didn't do that.
yeah. I mean, every injury is different. Everyone's body is different, but it doesn't matter. The point is, he's been fully healthy through 7 games this year, and he hasn't been a game changer. Sure, he's had sacks, he's had some plays, but he hasn't been a game
He
changer.
hasn't
Right?
been the key phrase is he was sold to us as a generational talent. He has not fit that bill. He is not a
Yeah.
generational talent. He's not Miles Garrett. He's not Aaron Donald.
No,
He's not even Max
he's a
Crosby.
solid player.
Yeah. He's
I would
Davion
compare him to
Clowney.
Preston Smith,
Yeah.
Ryan
No,
Kerrigan.
Preston Smith and Preston Smith is Montez productive, but not the game record that they need to be.
Yeah.
But Ace was sold same way Clowney was sold. The generation talent, a high draft pick that produces doesn't they don't Micah Parsons, right? They don't you don't have Phil Collins gargling on his name every broadcast prime time because he's not doing it. And that's why we don't even get the primetime games because Chase isn't doing anything that he like that a blue chip player, an elite generational talent is supposed to do. He'll do it on the Niners, guaranteed. He'll probably have 3 sacks on Sunday, but whatever. He's probably going to play harder now. That's just what happens, right? He's like, oh shit, the trade happened. I went to a team that's known to have this mental, super tough minded, physical defense. So I have to put in 200% effort just to keep up with these guys. And I have to compete with my boy Bosa back from Ohio State. And I have to work. And you're going to see the work ethic that he didn't have for the last 3 years suddenly appear. And he's just going to look insane, and it's going to be a bad look for us, but it's, again, you have to remember it needed to happen. And everybody on Sunday, Twitter is going to be filled with all the stupid PG County fans and all the stupid idiots that are like, man, I knew we never should have gotten rid of Chase, blah 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 blah. And they're all going to turn on Harris for some reason, and because they don't have long-term vision. They're stuck in the PTSD of Snyder and short-term vision, and they're never gonna get there.
Yeah. I mean, but Shanahan also is not going to take his bullshit, right? Like if he's not coming to practice as prepared and he's not putting in the work, this is going to go south for San Francisco too. They rented him for the rest of the season to try to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
They have zero intentions of signing him long term,
100%.
and he'll be a free agent
Yeah,
in the summer.
which is he'll work even harder then. But I mean, we'll see what happens on Sunday. Commanders and Patriots. Who's winning? Give me your score.
um, oh man, I think the Commanders are going to pull this off. I go 23-20, Commanders. Last two
I think
minutes.
I think Tuhill has 4 sacks, and I think we win 52-6, and we completely dominate. And it's all good things moving forward, except that Ron Rivera will somehow mess it up for us. But all
Yeah.
right,
Is he gonna get a good challenge in? Probably not.
if he can uncross his arms fast enough, he might be able to throw the flag. We'll
Yeah,
put it
only if
that way.
someone tells him to. Someone's got to tell him. Someone's got to tap him on the
uh,
shoulder, say, "Hey, Ron, I think you should challenge that." And then
yeah,
he'll unfold his arms,
we'll see what
look for his
happens.
flag, probably do this.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We miss you, Chase. We miss you, Tez. We wish you well. Hopefully, you guys have phenomenal careers. Uh, Scherzer just got his ring with the Rangers. They just won the World Cup.
World
Everything
Series.
is World Series. Sorry. Um, But yeah, I
It's
mean,
late. It's late, and we're both tired.
yeah, all the teams are in rebuild mode, so let's just ride it out. Let's put a bow on the show. This has been an emergency pod from the Defeating the Curse crew, FP and LP. Watch our shows and listen to them wherever you watch them and listen to them. Thanks for listening. We are out.